And welcome back to Tight Sports. Welcome back to Tight Sports. We're going to get right into it with our look at wrapping up on week 11. Hey, after last week, I have increased my pick percentage by 36%. That's right. I know. Kids, thank you. Thank you for your support. But then, a 36% increase from week to one week to another, that's pretty good. But the only problem is I came in at a dismal 57% on the weekend. Yeah, 57%. So over the last 2 weeks, I'm sorry, I know I try not to make excuses. I'm kind of new to doing this thing, and I know everybody. I'm sorry. Come on, man. I'm trying to get it together here, but over the last 2 weeks, let's see, I made 28 picks, and I got half of them right. So I guess that makes me a bump. Up 19% overall on the from week to week. But I got a lot of studying to do, and that's what I'm going to do to try to get better. And because one day, eventually, hopefully in the near future, I don't think it'll take till the next season, but I probably if I keep your money in your pocket till next season, because I want to be a place you can come to and maybe pick up a little tidbit about the league. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something to help you pull in the big money. But let me get right to my notes here. It's going over last week's games. Cincinnati versus Baltimore. Burrow did not finish this contest. And Browning did his best. I do not know who that is. It's the backup quarterback. But, the pass rush was too much for the Bungles, and Gus Edwards and Lamar accounted for 4 touchdowns. As the Ravens did cover, giving me a win. Man, next up was the Dallas Cowboys visiting, Bryce and them. As I thought. I thought they would lose by 23, something like that. But there was no way around it, man. A really balanced attack from the Dallas offense was too much for Bryce and the boys, and it was too much Michael Parsons with no breaks, all up inside of Bryce's personal space. That guy's he can get to the point where he's unstoppable. I've seen teams slow him down. But if you don't have that report on how to slow him down, then you're probably not going to win because your quarterback's not going to be able to stand still for too long. Next game on this one, let's see. This was Detroit and Chicago. I took a loss on this line because I tried to take a double-digit cover in a grudge match. Noted, not doing that again. I have to put that one in the notes for next time because I won't ever try that. That was absolutely insane. I mean, Justin Fields was a one-man wrecking crew, but that does not work in the NFL. But he did a lot to get him close. He didn't let him lose by more than 10, and I think the line actually went up. But far as on the Crimson Pride report, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs had a wonderful game. 105 yards and a touchdown. And Jameson Williams is coming along. I mean, he had a touchdown and 44 yards in this game. But I never do that again. I'm just gonna play it right down the center. Let's see who else we got here. Who's next? Got the Chargers of Green Bay. I took Green Bay as the underdog. Smart thing I did. And they pulled it out with a win. They won the whole game, 23-20. Herbert, he did his thing, but Eckler is just not seen the same since he's coming back from his injury. Green Bay had a real balanced attack to take the team victory, but just going back to Eckler for a minute, I guess everybody's been waiting all season, but sometimes, you hit that age thing and maybe you have to play a different game. And maybe he's just a dependable back, whether at first he was just like a fantasy darling, as you would say. But he's just not what it used to be. And the next game was Arizona versus Houston, man. I mean, this line increased by 1.5 points by kickoff, giving me a loss. If it stayed at 4, I would have been good, but it increased. By 1 point. 1.5 points. Debacle Ryans and his Crimson Tide lace defense slowed down Kyler enough to garner the victory, though. So, I kind of was working with him on that one. Even Will Anderson registered a sack against the shifty QB. I need to go back and see if I can get some film on that one because that had the little, Will's kind of not humongously tall, but his arms. I wondered did his span, his arm span, wingspan, did that have anything to do with him grabbing Kyler? Because Kyler, he don't stay in front of you for very long. And maybe he's a touch slower, coming off of the injury to his knee there. But next up, Tennessee and Jacksonville. Oh man. This one, Sunshine Lawrence was able to hit Alabama's Calvin Ridley twice to help garner a 20-point victory for the Jags. Levis, he had a so-so game for a rookie. I mean, anytime when, they ain't benching you as a rookie, it's really a good day. He had 2 touchdowns, but pitifully, they gave the ball to Derrick Henry 10 times for 38 yards. Can you believe that? 10 times for 38 yards. I mean, I really hope they will free Alabama's hero, Alabama's champion, and get that man to a better team because, man, he deserves better. Man, everybody ain't promised no doggone Super Bowl ring, but it's just that whole Barry Sanders thing all over again. I don't want to see it happen to Derrick Henry. He's just too good of a guy for that, in my opinion. But, just hopefully down the line he don't come out to be some kind of Scuds bucket in private. I just don't see that in him. Seems like a man of impeccable character and really nice guy. And State Farm really does investigate these people before they put them on TV. I'm just serious. Las Vegas versus Miami. Man, that game. I mean, Coach Antonio Pierce took his first loss as the Raiders interim coach. Or did they make him the full-time coach? I don't know. But his Raiders did a wonderful job of slowing down Tua and the high-powered offense that the fans have. But, I mean, keeping the greatest move he made was keeping Garoppolo on the bench, man. I don't know what the score would have been if Garoppolo out there thinking he about to sling it back and forth with Tua. Aiden O'Connell, he was an issue. He did not have to win the game, but he kind of Garoppolo'd up, and he threw 3 interceptions. And then Garoppolo probably won't throw 3 interceptions. He may throw one and fumble one, but hey, I don't know if he had a bunch of 3 interception or 3 turnover games. But Aiden O'Connell, they went with him. He could have done more to help them win the game, but they lost. They did not play like the 13.5 underdog that they were slated to be, but, who knows what we may say as Aiden O'Connell. Is he the next Purdy? Is he the next Minshew? Is he the next Fitz Magic? We don't know. I'm glad these guys are kind of coming up. I don't know what's happening with the league. Some quarterbacks, right between 7 and 10 years, because people can get along with them or they can get along with the system to keep them around, but someone's just not that good. I mean, just Miss Trubisky in a football game is like it's a waste of time. He's better off selling peanuts. Way up there way up there. Give somebody else, get out the way. This don't make sense for Joshua Dobbs to be bouncing around. These people actually have jobs, full-time jobs. New York Giants versus Washington. Man, I thought about okay, so I came in and had a 57% weekend. Even in if I went this way where I was leaning to, It's no way. I mean, this is how difficult this is. There was no way at all for me to say, if I had called these games this way, I would be at 95%. I'd be lying to you because it's games like this. This was totally unexpected. Tommy DeVito was like, put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. Tommy had 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns on a day. Their highest point total of the year. They scored 31 time. I don't know if they won or lost. Nobody cared. But, I mean, and then we saw the real coach, Brian Daboll, just showed up. The guy who I thought would take the guy, Jones, from Duke and turn him into a average or better quarterback. They did something smart. With Saquon back, they wisely used Saquon as their most powerful weapon. They run the ball, they throwing the ball. So Saquon was out there balling, but then it freed up everybody else. So I don't know why that doesn't work with Daniel Jones. Everybody else could see it didn't work for Daniel Jones. So they decided to give Daniel Jones a whole bunch of money for what reasons that nobody understands. And I shouldn't say nobody because I'm sure his agent understands completely. So the defense stood up to old Howell. They got 3 picks off of Howell. Man, Rivera and old boy, B-Rob, Brian Robinson, they shut him down too. And they lost this game. They were like a 10-point dog, and they won this game 31-19 on the road. Not far down the road, but still it was a road game. And they did that. I special shout out to them because I didn't, this is why in the NFL it's just hard to be like, oh yeah, I called every game last week. You lie. Next up we got this one worked out just like I thought it would. Tampa Bay visiting San Francisco. Like I said, when Baker stepped off the plane, he should be able to feel the pressure. And I would say I caught a break on this one, but because the spread did increase on me, it went from 11.5 to 13.5. But I still made a good call on Baker and his madness. I mean, Purdy was flawless. I think he has incompletions, but I didn't say he was perfect. But he was almost flawless on the day. I mean, and Debo, I'm telling you, when Debo is around that team, man, people be coming and telling me, man, I think I'm bleeding out my kidney. And I think my pancreas is shutting down. Man, Debo coming there and suit up. It's like he don't want to hear that. I don't know if he has the Ndamukong Suh impact on the locker room or Ray Lewis, something more inspiring, or Michael Irvin. I don't know what he do, but every time he get in that uniform, folks be like, respect that dude. I mean, his toughness is, I don't know. It's like he just goes in with a dial and say, how tough we're going to be? Soft? We're going to be baby poo-poo soft? He turned that thing up to, impenetrable. Like we just going to be like relentless. We're going 300 today. I don't know. But, even though they beat these folks down, McCaffrey had a very reserved day. He had 100 all-purpose yards and a touchdown by reception. But I just want to thank Baker for cooking up 4 sacks, a fumble, and an interception. 4 sacks, a fumble, and an interception. I don't know what it is. They folded against this team, and I needed them to. Then you got the Jets in Buffalo. Man. Well, Zach finally going to the bench after this one. The defense, they couldn't cope. They could not cope with what was going on. And I don't know if they made a stand, so they told coach, like, we got to make some changes. We can't keep doing this. But uncharacteristically, I mean, Buffalo's good, but they gave up 32 points to lose by 26. Crimson Riders, Mosley and Quentin Williams played very uninspired. For the first time of the year, it's like they got blocked the whole game. I don't break down film like that, but they just just the numbers tells me that they weren't interested in being very successful this day. And I think this got tired of Zach because I think it was announced that, I don't know if it was during the game, but after the game, I did see an article where Zach Wilson is going to the bench. They starting somebody else I ain't never heard of, which could be a good thing. Tommy DeVito, you know. But I have a feeling that, you know, the defense must have said something to Coach Saleh and was like, man, you need to make some changes because we beating ourselves up for absolutely nothing. So Buffalo was clicking on all points. But will it last for Buffalo? Will they come out and just know like, oh, we are special. We are superior. They can't touch our stuff. When we wake up in the morning, we urinate excellence. I mean, well, I don't know what they're going to do. Because it's like one day they up and the next minute they down and all around. Seattle versus the Rams. This game went from a pick'em to the Rams being the favorite by 2.5, which worked out well for me because I took Seattle. I picked Geno. Forget about it. It's Geno, the boys covered. You know what I'm saying? Geno did his thing. Bada boom, bada bing. And they did their thing. Losing by only 1 point. Stanford is on the mend, but he did enough to get them to the victory. And Kenneth Walker's injury probably set Seattle back a lot. I mean, he got banged up again. I think he has 2 nagging injuries now. And he's just such a weapon. I mean, I just think like him coming from Wake Forest and then going to Michigan State for that 1 year, his career was thrown into, you're not going to get a regular job when you finish this. You're going to, and I don't know if his fitness level, the care, the stretching, the massage, I know he probably needs to take that up because he's taking some injuries from running. Running and getting banged up against, but still he's running. And Cooper Kupp was injured as well for the Rams. This is a mid-clinic type of a game, but nevertheless, it was a win for me. Oh, the Sunday night thing. Ooh. Minnesota versus Denver. Dobbs came through. 4 fumbles to stay in this game, but not for the Vikings. It was a weird game, man. It was full of Vikings turnovers. Dobbs used it all to use everything he had to get up and down the field, but in the very, it just didn't work out well because Denver's defense, Denver's offense, I'm sorry, led by Cortland Sutton. They actually they were ready to battle in the rest of the games for the rest of the season. So Sean Payton may have figured something out. They may start, I don't know, making some changes, maybe to get a wild card. We know they won't get the division from Kansas City, but maybe. I don't think so, but something going on there in Denver. We'll see this weekend. They really got some. They got. Every game is hard in the NFL, but they really got a challenge coming up this weekend. I can't remember the team. That's what I'm stumbling about right now, but we'll see if it's real because if they can start winning at home at least, it sets them up nice for next year. You know, when you get the draft and get some people out of there and get some other people in there. So maybe Sean's turning this thing around. Now, big game of the week to me, Philadelphia versus Kansas City. Kansas City was favored by 3 points, and this game played out exactly like I thought it would. I had no idea, although I have said in earlier videos that Jalen's been hurting. He starts at the game kind of, I call it just in pain, like looking like he's 30 years older than he is when he's moving about. He's trotting on the field, he's kind of creaking along there, but, once he gets warmed up, he really gets to rolling. So they were down. To me, they were down at halftime, but man, Philly kept it close, and they took some chances in the second half, and they came away with the win, and they covered. The Chiefs came real close to pulling it out, but to no avail. They had a guy, I can't think, I'm not call his name, but yeah, Mahomes put the ball in his hands, not even on his fingertips. He had to stretch out for it. It's the NFL. It's one of those you just have to catch. And now, for the game, the reason, you roll out of bed on a Sunday morning in terms of for the football, whatever football is in your spirit. when I'm thinking football on Sunday, I'm thinking Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers. But in a game where we played against number one defense in the league, now, I knew there was number one defense in the league before I got there. In a game where the offense of the Cleveland Browns was not going to have $100 million Deshaun Watson, who's left for the season, got an ankle injury, got to have surgery, and a team that doesn't have Nick Chubb, who can run on 200 yards, win, lose, or draw, just 200 automatic yards. I mean, I don't know if it's 200, but it sure feel like sometimes he's about to get 200. But no. And the offense led by Dorian Thompson-Robinson, former quarterback from UCLA. Well, I've seen him will and deal. He was not willing and dealing. The Steeler defense allowed him and the Cleveland Brown offense to tally up 13 points. I'm going to go back to my notes from last week. I said the Steelers can lose if they do not get off the field on third down on defense. They did a pretty good job of that. And I said the Steelers can lose if we're unable to control the line of scrimmage. That was on both sides of the ball. Defense, yes. Offense, no. The Steelers can lose if more than half of the offense possessions are 3 and outs. I don't know how many 3 outs they had. I don't even care. We scored 10 points, man. 10 points. And I have people telling me when I'm sitting there watching the game against Tennessee, not Tennessee, 2 weeks ago, we're leaning on our defense. Well, here's the thing about that. That's all well and good. What if the defense do their job? What is the average scoring day in the NFL? Ain't it like 26 points? So we gave up 13. That's an excellent defensive day. But when you're getting 10, I have to look at some of the teams going well. Special teams going well. Defense is going very well. What offense? Coach Tomlin. Who's over the offense? Matt Canada.
We're just going to step right in right here. It just seems like, Tide has had too much. The remainder of this video had to be separated because things just went left. And it's just too much. So join us next time here on Tide Sports if you want to hear more about Tide's feelings